Have you ever wondered why Ethiopian runners seem to fly, as if they're playing by different rules? Why they keep improving non-stop while the rest of the world seems stuck? What is it they do in training that almost nobody outside their mountains dares to copy? There's something in their way of training that isn't taught in gyms, something that doesn't appear in ordinary training plans. And once you discover it, you understand why they dominate the biggest races, and why almost no one dares to train like them. While everyone looks to Kenya, there's a quiet neighbor rewriting the sport. Ethiopia doesn't make noise. No self-promotion, no documentaries every few months. But when the big races arrive, they're there. Fast, tough, unbreakable. This land gave us legends that changed athletics forever. Bekele, the man who shattered records like glass. Gebrselassie, the smiling assassin who crushed every rival. Tola, world champion. Kejelcha, the warrior who turns every session into a battle. But what we see on TV is just the surface. What truly sets them apart is hidden high in the mountains, far from cameras, far from tourists. It's not magic, not genetics, not luck. It's a radical way of training that almost no one outside Ethiopia dares to copy. It's so tough, so demanding, so wild, that when you understand it, you finally see why their runners seem to come from another planet. The best part? You don't need to live at 2,000 meters to use it. You can apply parts of it yourself, and that's when the difference begins. Because what they do has nothing to do with what you've been taught. Ethiopian Secret 1, the Extreme Progression Run. The first Ethiopian secret sounds simple until you try it. They don't start fast. They start slow, painfully slow. So slow that any regular runner would think they're warming up wrong. But that's the trick. As the run continues, they start accelerating. Gradually, calmly, relentlessly. Each kilometer faster than the last. And just when you think they've reached top speed, they go again. And again. This isn't an easy jog, it's a climb. A climb that drains you from the inside without you realizing. Ethiopians say this is how you wake up the body. The engine needs patience before reaching full power. Start too fast, and you break it instead of building it. But the brutal part comes at the end. When they already have miles in their legs, they lift their heads, lengthen their stride, and push at race pace, sometimes even faster. That's when you understand their dominance. They finish stronger than they start. Their body learns to suffer at the end, not at the beginning. And that's the key to surviving a marathon. Most runners do the opposite. They go out too fast and pay for it later. Not them. They finish like missiles. And any runner can copy this. Once a week. Start easy. Finish hard. Really hard. If you do it right, you'll notice something powerful. Your body stops fearing fatigue. And in races, that feeling changes everything. But be warned. That's just the first secret. The easiest one. The least dangerous one. What comes next is far tougher. Ethiopian Secret 2, Endless Mountains. The second secret isn't in a gym, it's under their feet. A ground that is never flat. They say Ethiopia is the land of never level. And it's true. Every route climbs and falls, over and over. Soft hills, steep climbs, endless ridges. Up, down, up again. No rest. While other countries chase perfect tracks, Ethiopians train on terrain that punishes the legs, deliberately. Constant hills build strength without weights. They teach control, rhythm, and breathing when your heart begs you to stop. They create durability that can't be bought with fancy shoes. In places like in Tola, the air is so thin it feels like it's hiding. You breathe less, but you run more. It's not comfortable, not pretty, and definitely not for everyone. But that's what makes them indestructible, not just in the legs, but in the mind. Because when you've been climbing for 30 minutes with no summit in sight, that's where the real training begins. That's where the strong separate from those who just look strong. Altitude helps, yes, but altitude doesn't win races. Attitude does. And in those mountains, attitude is forged through pain. The incredible part? They don't do this once a week. They do it every day. It's their bread and butter, their natural terrain, and you can copy it, even from home. You don't need mountains. Just find hills, any incline, a short climb, a ramp, a bridge. Repeat it, again and again. your body will start to change. Still, this isn't their most powerful secret. There's something stranger, something harder to replicate, something that makes them look like they're dancing to a rhythm no one else can hear. Ethiopian Secret 3. Organized Chaos. The third Ethiopian secret is the one outsiders never understand. It looks like a group run, but it's not. It's organized chaos. A storm disguised as a training session. In Ethiopia, they don't train 10 at a time. Not 20. Sometimes 100 runners together. Men, women, young, veterans, all mixed. Not for fun. For pain. No preset paces. No coach shouting splits. No stopwatch dictating structure. The pace changes when someone decides to change it. And that someone could be anyone. You're running easy, and suddenly the group surges. No warning. No reason. If you drop back, you die. If you push too hard, you die sooner. So you learn to adapt. To react instantly. To read the runners around you. It's like running inside a storm. Sometimes the pace spikes. Sometimes it crashes. Sometimes it goes insane. And you're there, fighting to stay inside the pack. That chaos builds adaptation no other system in the world reproduces. You don't train a pace, you train all paces. You don't just train the body, you train the mind. It forces you to stay alert, sharp, aggressive. That's why Ethiopian runners don't break when the pace shifts mid-race. They're used to it. For them, a surge isn't chaos. It's home. And you can simulate this too, at your scale. Run with a group. Change pace randomly. Throw in bursts your body doesn't expect. Train unpredictability, just like they do. Because the real lesson isn't physical, it's mental. In that chaos, you learn something few runners ever do. Suffering can be trained. And once you learn that, you understand why Ethiopia keeps producing champions. There's a part of their training you can't measure with pace or heart rate, their mindset. A mindset you can't buy, can't teach, can't find in a spreadsheet. In Ethiopia, running isn't a hobby. It's not a sport. It's a responsibility. A way to honor family. A chance to change a life. That's why they train like they do. Because behind every stride, there's something bigger than themselves. They don't run just to run. They run for what might happen if they succeed. That thought creates a kind of endurance you can't see. A strength that doesn't show up on watches or graphs. A fire that burns when everyone else has quit. Many Ethiopian runners say training isn't just about improving the body. It's about improving the character. It's about learning to suffer, not pointlessly, but with purpose. Because that's where progress lives. That's why their training sessions are silent. No chatter, no jokes, just breathing, footsteps, and a group moving as one. It's discipline, the kind that explains why they can hold impossible paces when they're already on the edge. Why they don't crumble when races turn chaotic. That mental code can't be fully copied, but you can learn parts of it. The part that teaches you to keep going when you want to stop. To listen to your body, but not always obey it. To believe you can, even when it hurts. Combine that mindset with their 3 secrets, and you understand why Ethiopia keeps producing runners from another dimension. How to apply the Ethiopian method as a regular runner. The best part? You don't have to live there to benefit from it. You can start using it tomorrow. If you do it right, you'll feel real changes, fast. Copy their progression. Once a week, do a run that starts slow and finishes hard, harder than you're used to. Start relaxed. Build gradually. Finish strong. Repeat week after week, and your body will transform faster than you expect. Find hills. No mountains nearby? Doesn't matter. A small slope, a ramp, a bridge, all work. Climb it several times, without obsessing over speed. Consistency is the key. Vary your pace. Don't train the same way every time. Add small bursts. Change rhythm every few minutes. Your body becomes more adaptable, just like theirs. Train with others. Running with people forces you to react, to focus, to push harder. You don't need a huge group. 2 or 3 runners are enough. Train your mind. Not to suffer pointlessly, but to understand that growth begins where comfort ends. When your mind says stop, go a little further. That's where your next level begins. Even applying part of this method will make a difference. Apply it all, even at your level. and your running will never be the same. Brutal progressions, endless hills, organized chaos, an unbreakable mind. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's work, hard work, every day, without excuses. Now that you know how they train, the question isn't why they're so strong. It's what will happen to you once you start training like them. Because even applying just a fraction of this method changes everything. Your body, your mind, and the way you see every run. Every runner has a limit they set for themselves. Ethiopians cross that line every day. And now, you can too. If you want to discover another elite method few people know, click here and see the African training style that's revolutionizing running worldwide. Fair warning, after watching it, you'll never train the same again.